Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and thank you as always for tuning back in. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Layla, the Lenormand reader, and today folks we are doing another card combination video. And I want to say if you're not signed up to my newsletter, then go ahead and do that right now, because in it we cover the card combination and I also go over everything we did in the last couple of weeks. So you might like this as an addition to everything else you watch here on the channel. So thanks again for tuning in, and let's go ahead and discover a new card combination this week. So there's no need to shuffle the deck, it's just a habit really. I'm going to draw two cards randomly and we'll take it from there into triplets. So here's one card and another card. Lovely. The Rider and Flowers. So the Rider is obviously a card of movement. It is associated with a messenger, and it is generally a positive card. It's more or less neutral, but it's often good to see it because it brings movement, it gets things going, you hear the news, you get the feedback. And the messenger is also usually a helpful person who comes to our support, maybe bringing the news or just coming over to help. It's also about travel to some extent, although not usually the long haul type of travel. The long haul type of travel is better associated with something like the ship, the mountain, and sometimes the road as well. The Rider is about shorter trips, going places, doing things. It tends to be a busy card, an active card, and also a card that asks for initiative. And the Flowers is really one of the loveliest cards in the deck. It is about optimism, enthusiasm, that sense of openness and happiness. It's often associated with fun, festivity, and celebration. And it is also associated with the idea of return. So that's through its association with spring. And so when we see the Rider and Flowers together, something comes back into play, and it's something that we had been wanting that comes back into play. And I don't think the order of the cards here matters at all. It can also point to good news, happy news, or maybe a visitor, someone we want to see, someone helpful, just getting support. I mean, all around, these two cards are really bright together, and they have this idea of probably success in a very broad sense, but more specifically the idea of something returning, something coming back into play and enabling us to move forward. So that idea of the green light. Let's draw our first triplet here. I'm going to take this card, the Bear. So the Bear, as we've seen in some videos before, it's about anything big, really. In terms of people, it's associated with people of influence, people in authority. It can represent wealthy people. In terms of events, it can point to something important that we need to attend to. It can also sometimes refer to competition or someone intimidating, especially when there are challenging cards nearby. But when there is something like the Flowers and Rider, I don't think the Bear's negative potential comes through at all, really, because I see it as generally neutral. So with the Rider and Bear, there could be something important here. It can be important news. It can be an important big step forward. And it can also suggest that this is an important goal that we need to pursue, because the Rider can also pursue this idea of goals and ambition. And when we have something like the Bear, which is an ambitious card in terms of its level, strength, power, and influence, it can mean that we need to pursue maybe a bigger project or bring out our bigger selves out there, really work to step up to the next level. With the Flowers, there is that very optimistic energy that comes through the triplet. This is an exciting time of growth and success and being ambitious and wanting to step up to the next level. In terms of people, I think this is an invitation to reach out to someone of influence, because maybe they can help out, or maybe they have some suggestions. It's also possible that we get along with this person well, and maybe there's maybe a visit or some kind of interaction, an opportunity to meet and speak is coming through here, because the Rider is a messenger card. Now, if we switched around the order of the cards a little bit, it's possible that someone returns as well. I think this applies in any case. I feel I'm not so sure it makes a difference here. The flowers that is closer to the bear can perhaps mean that this bear becomes a bit more sympathetic, a bit friendlier, because the bear can be a bit imposing and intimidating. So maybe the flowers sort of softens a little bit the demeanor of the bear. And I think if we had it in this way as well, I don't necessarily think it makes a difference. I think with the bear in the middle, it's possible that the idea of growth and importance is highlighted, and this can mean that we do achieve, that level up. That's, what I suggested earlier. So I don't feel that the order of the cards in here make a difference to how the bear adds up with the triplet and with these two cards within this triplet. But there could be maybe a couple of nuances. Let's move on to another triplet. Let's put these back together, or maybe let's keep them apart. Let's go for this card. Yep. Interesting. The Book. I think this is a revelation. I think the order of the cards is going to matter here. In this order, the flowers comes on the other side of the book. The messenger comes before the book. So it can mean that this messenger, the rider, or this helpful influence that is represented by the rider brings news that is finally revealed. It can mean feedback that is revealed, that is shared. And with the flowers on the right-hand side, I feel it is positive and it brings possibly a wish. Now, if the book were on the right-hand side, I feel there's still a possibility that the information is not fully revealed, or it's maybe partial. And I say that because the flowers is a card of, because it's associated with spring, it would bring out this sense of revelation or openness and news actually shared. But sometimes when the card is on the right-hand side, the end of the line, it can mean the outcome. So here we still have the book in this place, so it can mean that the news is still in progress. However, the rider and flowers is a good energy here. It is good news in the sense that things are progressing, and it's just a matter of time before all of it is revealed. Now, suppose we had the flowers, rider, and book. This can be similar in the sense that the message is not entirely revealed. The rider and book being closer together emphasizes the idea of news. And the flowers here at the beginning can mean that we're looking forward to it, but probably because the book being on the right, it's still in the works, it's still not entirely revealed. The flowers is still a really positive card, very optimistic. And so I don't think this delay or the fact that it's still a mystery or not revealed yet is an issue. I think there is this idea of trusting that in time it will be revealed. So I don't think that it has any negative associations just because things are not revealed yet. Although normally it would, right? We'd expect it would, but not with the flowers. It's just too bright and powerfully positive to not affect it in the whole line in a positive way. Now, one more thing is that the flowers is a creative card. It's a bit like the moon and the child. It has that feminine energy. The idea of creativity is very much associated with it. And with something like the book, it's possible that we need to pursue some kind of expression or a work. We could be in the writing business, in the reading, the research, maybe studying or upskilling, discovering a new branch of knowledge. All of this is possible with the book, especially when there are cards like the flowers and other creative or possibly work cards. And with the rider, there is a really strong encouragement here to pursue some ambitions in this regard, to express ourselves, to really indulge in, the things that we like, like the literature that we enjoy, the areas that we love to look into, the things we like to watch, this idea of really engaging our senses in our interests. So I think that is also a kind and gentle possibility that come through the cards with the book and the line. Let's move on to another triplet. Oh, the garden. This is also lovely. Of course, with the flowers, all the combinations are going to be pretty positive. I would say with the garden, there's definitely a meeting, especially with the rider. The rider is with the garden is very much a meeting card, as opposed to, let's say, news with the garden. It's not necessarily a meeting. It might be an announcement, like a public announcement or so. But when we have the rider, which can be associated with a visitor, someone coming, the support that is very well captured or associated with the rider, it can mean a meeting, a gathering, a get-together. And with the flowers, it goes really well. This can be having a good time, having fun, going out. It can mean something like a party, some kind of celebration. And with the rider here, definitely we're encouraged to go for it, to be part of it, and to have a good time. And I think this really applies any way we have the cards. The flowers can suggest the idea of returning to a place or going back to re-engage with a certain place or a group of people. And I think this applies in any order of the cards. If I had it here or at the end, or if I had maybe the rider as well, I think it applies in all cases. You could receive someone. This could be a suggestion to invite people to, take initiative to go out and get together with friends or with others. I think any way you look at these cards, it's pretty similar, and it's also pretty positive. So definitely a good idea to be out there, to be with people, to have fun, and to have some good times. Moving on to maybe a couple more triplets, maybe more. Let's see. Oh, the Coffin, interesting. So this, a bit like the book, is going to create a delay. And of course, I think the order of the cards is going to make a difference here. When we have the Coffin at the end, we are encouraged to hold on, to be patient, and also with the flowers in the middle and closest to the Coffin, it suggests having a good attitude about it. So just being patient. It can also mean that there's a lucky kind of delay. So it is a lucky turn of events for you for things to be delayed or postponed. Maybe this gives you time, you're able to buy time, you're able to take advantage of it in a certain way. Now suppose the Coffin were earlier in the line or before either of these cards. I would say that the news comes in after a delay. So the Coffin and rider very clearly suggests a delay, but there's also with the flowers at the end the idea that it finally comes. So it seems that after a while of waiting, there is relief and happiness from getting the news or getting the feedback or hearing from this person or moving forward with a project or something that was pending or that was on hold. I think the order here is very relevant. If the Coffin were in the middle, I still think it suggests that things come back into play, because at the end of the line, we have the flowers. This would be the case either way, I think. And the flowers just brings positivity to the whole thing. The idea that finally, it's over and we're able to move forward. But I think really what is at the end of the line here, I think it matters a lot with the Coffin. The order is pretty relevant here. Now, it's also possible that this is a happy ending, that maybe more when the Coffin is at the end, the idea that we're finally able to bring something to a close is possible. The idea of the rider, through its association with achieving goals and going after our goals, and with the Coffin, with a happy card, it can mean that we have finally achieved something and we're able to close it off. That is also a possibility. So lovely messages here with the Coffin, where the order, I feel, matters. Let's move on to another combination. Oh, the tree. Well, that is lovely. That is basically adding to the growth and abundance that we see through the flowers. A bit maybe like the bear, the idea of growth and growing up and out, this idea of blooming, and really with the tree and rider, there is the idea of keep on keeping on. So the tree is a card of staying put and building on what you've already created, whereas the rider is forward movement. So to balance these together is the idea of continuing on the path that you're on, because this is what will lead to the positive results that we see through the flowers. And I think the order, again, doesn't really matter. I think the tree maybe closest to the rider can suggest slowing the pace a little bit, slowing down a little bit and taking things in a bit more in a more gradual way, step by step, I think the tree can temper the speed of the rider. And then with the flowers, this is what leads to results, and the fruit of your labor we see very clearly here. So again, I would say a very positive combination. The order doesn't matter all that much. Maybe when the rider and tree are closest together, it can suggest slowing down a little bit, but still there is a clear idea of growth and forward movement. So I think these are lovely cards, lovely cards. Let's move on to one more combination. Here. Oh, a challenging card. A good thing we got a challenging card. We have the flowers, rider, and snake. I really feel that when the flowers and snake appear together, at least in my dictionary, this suggests someone who is false to our face. This is someone who flatters when they don't really mean it, or over flatters. And so with the rider, there can be someone who is a bit of a charmer. And, with the flowers, they have that sense of, they try to entice you, try to attract you, try to, they could be a player in love or in flirting kind of person. So this is where you want to be careful about what this messenger or this person is bringing, because they could be sugarcoating things, right, with the flowers. They could be maybe making things appear nicer than they are, or maybe they just want something from you. And that is very clear through the snake. And I think that it can apply in any order of the cards. It's possible if the snake is at the end that you might be turning away, or indeed if the rider is at the end, you might be turning away. But really, because of the snake and flowers in this order being closest to each other, adjacent, this idea of false flattery and false compliments comes through clearly. So I think that you need to be careful about what you're being told, what you're hearing, and about this person and their intentions. It's also possible that when we are the ones who need to be doing this, that we need to be diplomatic and, saying kind things, saying sweet things. Maybe this is what's needed to get what we want, or to maybe manage a situation with a person. That is also possible. But certainly with the snake in the center here, I would say the idea of silence and of keeping our intentions to ourselves is really well highlighted. So that's also something to keep in mind. If I had the flowers in the middle, there is a chance, depending on the context, I feel, that we give this another chance. Because the flowers and rider are positive together, and the flowers and snake are tricky together, but the order is as it is, it's possible that we're able to move past the challenges that are associated with the snake and move into a new direction, maybe giving this another chance. And I say that because the flowers is a card of renewal. So the idea of going back to something, and that's where the idea of giving a second chance or another chance can be a possibility here. However, the snake is really tricky, and if we're going to give the situation another chance, I would say it's important to be cautious and maybe to be a little bit different moving forward. So these are my thoughts. These are my suggestions with the flowers and rider. This is a lovely combination, brings good news and happiness and kicks things forward and brings lots of enthusiasm and momentum. So let me know your thoughts about these interpretations and my interpretations of the triplets, or any other ideas you might have about this pair. I'm really looking forward to them. And if you have any combination suggestions for our next video, I'm really happy to receive them. I've got all the info in the description box. So thanks again for tuning in, folks. And until we meet again, take very good care of yourself.